Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy United Rescue Bots Universe Deluxe Class Chase. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now let's take a look at the figure's packaging. So here we have the packaging. Starting at the very front, we have Transformers on the side. We have the Legacy United logo at the bottom of the box with Rescue Bots Universe Autobot Chase in white text with a white Autobot symbol. We have a really cool artwork shot of Autobot Chase in his police car alt mode. We also do have an open window displaying the figure in the packaging. And if we do look at the top of the box, there's another Legacy United logo as well. And if we do turn to the side of the box, we have two really cool artwork shots of Chase in his robot mode. One more of a close-up of his head and chest, and one more of a really cool kind of running battle pose with his weapons. And if we do look at the back of the box, the figure transforms in 18 steps. There's a proc shot of him and his robot, his alt mode, and of course there is the 40th anniversary Transformers logo there as well. And as for the final side of the packaging, we actually do have half of the Legacy United artwork. So if you do get another deluxe from this Legacy United line, you can actually put both boxes together and complete the artwork. And that is pretty much it for the packaging. So let's now get into the review. So here we have Chase in his robot mode. Now I have to be honest, I'm not super familiar with the Rescue Bot series or the character Chase, so if I do miss any references or Easter eggs with this figure to the series, you can point them out in the comment section down below. Now that being said, before I recorded this review, I actually did look up an image of Chase's show design, and I have to say I think Hasbro did a really good job of recreating that show design with this figure. But let's take a look at the details. So starting at the very top with the head sculpt, like the really nice silver for the entire face, with the blue for the visor, and I do like actually they sculpted in sort of a police cap, which is pretty funny, with a really nice gold badge. And I do like the really cool kind of antennas or earpieces on the side of the head. Really nice sculpt work there. And if we do look at the chest, there's a very classic Autobot symbol done in red and white with the really nice transparent yellow windows for these side sections here on the front, with the really small little kind of mirror sculpted in as well. And if we do look at the shoulder, I actually do like how there's the rear wheel there done in black with some really nice kind of indents sculpted in there with some really cool kind of pipe pieces at the back as well. And we actually do have the police car door to actually form the forearm, which I think is pretty cool. And I do like the black for the hands, and there's some more white for the crotch and some gray for the top of the legs. And I actually really like the feet design, with the ankle actually being sort of the front headlights of the police car. And I do like that shade of blue they use, kind of that dark shade of blue. And if we do look at that side profile there, overall not looking too bad. Pretty compact, no really leg kibble, arm kibble. There is a few panels at the back that I'll show off right now, which I have to say, when I first took this figure out of the packaging, I actually was not aware that these panels were a part of this figure. I did not know they were on the back of this figure, and I was a bit bothered at first, but actually after I've kind of handled the figure, you know, used the figure, transformed it for a couple days now, it actually really doesn't bother me as much as it used to. I was, again, kind of caught off guard. I wasn't aware that it was actually on this figure, so I was a bit surprised, but I kind of got used to it. It really doesn't bother me that much. And they actually do pretty much overall stay out of the way for the poseability and trying to, you know, kind of pose and mess with the figure, so that is good. It really doesn't, you know, limit or mess with the figure in any way. But overall, a very clean backpack in my opinion. I actually do like the really cool kind of police light back there, the red and blue and silver. And that is pretty much it for the details. So now for articulation. Starting at the very top with that head sculpt, the head can look up and down, tilt side to side, and look left and right. So now for the shoulders, this is probably one of my biggest complaints just with the figure overall. I think it's a very solid figure, but unfortunately, the shoulders don't really tab into place. They actually hinge down, mostly due to transformation, but for the robot mode, they don't really have like a tab or a locking mechanism, so you can really kind of move them down super low, or of course shift them up super high. Well, that being said, they do pretty much stay, you know, in their position. If you do have like a pose you want to do, it does stay there. It's just, of course, there is times, you know, where you could be unlucky and have a really loose copy. So I was lucky and a tight copy, but there's always a chance you could be unlucky and have a very loose, you know, very wiggly copy, and the shoulders could just droop down. So I really think they should have had a locking mechanism for it. It just seems kind of like a, you know, common, just sort of like a expected thing. So that's one aspect I'm not really that big a fan of, but the arms can move out and in, forward, and back. And like I said, the entire back panel really doesn't get in the way of the arm, movement and poseability. There is also, of course, an elbow bend to about 90. There is a bicep rotation, and there is really no hand wrist rotation, but the hand actually can fold in, and this isn't due to transformation. I think this is really just kind of for poseability, so you can hinge that in if you want to. And if we do move the arms out of the way, there is a full functioning waist rotation all around, completely unhindered. The legs can kick forward, back, out to the side. There is a rotation at the top of the leg, and knee bend to a very good degree, slightly past 90. And as for the foot, there is an ankle pivot in and out, which is very, very good. So let me just quickly straighten up the figure. So overall, pretty good articulation. It is a bit weird that the hand can actually fold in, but you don't do that for transformation. I always found that a bit odd, but I think probably the reason why they couldn't do a wrist rotation is because the panel would really get in the way. So no sense in adding that joints, but overall very good poseability for Deluxe. I still don't really get the shoulders because it's a Deluxe. I really think they should just put a simple tab or locking mechanism, and I think it would have been a lot better. But as for accessories, he does come with this really cool claw weapon accessories. This is why I kind of mentioned when I first started talking about the figure that I won't get all the Easter eggs and references, because I really don't know what this exactly is. It sort of looks like a claw, I guess, or like a grabber thing. And it looks cool. It looks cool. I think if they actually had put this figure in the Legacy line, the, first part of the Legacy line, they definitely could have called this like an Energon infused weapon, but we're actually Legacy United, so they kind of missed that opportunity. But yeah, it's a cool weapon. I'm assuming this is probably like his signature weapon, because all the images I found on Google were him with this weapon, so it's probably his signature sort of gimmick or weapon in the show, so I think that's a cool inclusion. And you actually can remove the separate little kind of claw or spike pieces if you want to, but I actually kind of prefer it in its fullest form. And you can attach this onto either arm. It does not matter. I'm actually going to attach it onto this one, and it pretty much just slides over the top. It just kind of slides in there like that. And I think that creates for a really cool look, because from both ways, it really looks like it's been transformed out of his arm, and I think that looks very, very cool. And honestly, I would have liked to. I think that'd be cool if you could actually have him dual wield them. I'm not sure in the series if he ever had to. Maybe he just had one, but I still really would have liked to. I think that would be very cool. And as for his final accessories, he does come with two small little light pieces, one blue one and one red one, and you can store them on either arm. Does not matter. It's that simple post and port system. I'm going to put the blue one on this side, and that just wiggles on there like that. And I'm going to put the red one on the other side, again with that same post and port system. You can just put that on there. And that is pretty much it for accessories. Starting for comparisons, here we have the Deluxe class Chase compared alongside the Voyager class Thundertron. And his separate review is coming very soon on the channel, and I think they look very cool side by side. And now for one final comparison, here he is with another Deluxe from Legacy United Wave 1, that being the Deluxe class Magnus. And that is pretty much it for comparisons. Let's now get down to transformation. So now for transformation, what you want to do is go to the shoulder. You're actually going to hinge this entire section up like that. Just make sure pretty much the hand is now facing up. You can repeat the exact same step and process on your side. Just hinge the entire shoulder up like so. You can then grab this entire panel that's on the chest. It can be a bit hard to push out. I actually just advise to kind of get your nail in there and just push this entire section out like so. You can then untab the entire chest and push this up. And the reason why this panel you actually have it pushed out is so there's enough clearance to actually have the head go through. And then about halfway, you can actually collapse that panel down again, so it can actually be pushed under this entire police siren piece right there, so it can sort of overlap for the police car mode. So there we go. You can then go to the legs. You're actually going to get this entire section here and hinge this forward on this hinge. And how this is tabbed in place is there's two tabs there and two slots on the inside of that panel. And you can actually fold this entire section out like so, and do the exact same thing on your side. So just untab this entire section here, fold this entire section down. As you can see, it's several hinges and pins. Fold that entire section down. You can then fold up the heel spurs if they haven't already, and there's a hinge at the foot. You're just going to hinge this entire section up. There's a slot right there and pretty much a tab where the front wheel is, and that will just align up and tab into place like so. Same thing with the other foot, just tab that in. There we go. And then you can actually rotate at the knee or the thigh region of the figure. So just rotate like that, rotate like that. And as you can see, there is several tabs and slots, and just align all of those together and tab them into place like so, and then fold down the front headlights. And then you're actually going to grab the entire crotch region and just fold this entire section down and collapse it. And then what you're going to do is pretty much tuck this entire white section here underneath the front hood. Sometimes you might actually have to bend the entire chest panel in so you actually have enough room, and then it should fold underneath nice and smoothly like so. You can actually grab the entire shoulder joint and hinge this entire section back. Same with the other one. And then of course it will tab in the back here. As you can see, there's a tab on this side and a slot on the inside of the shoulder, and that will just tab into place for both of them like so. You can then flip to the underside of the car. There's a tab on the police car door or the form, and there's a slot pretty much on the inside of the front wheel, and that will just line up nice and smoothly. Same with the other one. Just hinge this entire section in and tab that into place. There we go. You can then actually move to the back. There's these entire panels here with these cool pipe pieces, and you're just going to fold these down, and those will just tab into place where the police car door is. It's a very, very tight space and tight connection, but it should end up something like that. And then go to the other side. Just hinge this entire section down until it clicks into place like so. Again, a very tight space and tight connection just to line that up. And that is pretty much it for transformation. Let's now take a look at the details. So here we have Chase in his police car alt mode. Let's start off with accessory storage. So for the main accessory, the sort of claw weapon, you can actually turn to the back of the police car. There's this port here, and there is a post, and that can just plug into place like so. As for the final two accessories, the light pieces, you can store them on either side. So you can have the red one on this side and the blue one on that side, or vice versa. Really does not matter. Really just down to personal preference. I'm going to actually put the blue one on this side like so. Just wiggle that into place like that. And then you can grab the red one and put it on the other side like that as well. So there we have the accessory storage. So now for taking a look at the details, starting at the very front, I just like that really nice dark blue color for the entire front hood with the really nice yellow for the front headlights and the silver for the grille. I do like the nice bright transparent yellow windows there with a very classic symbol done in red and white with a really cool police light up top with the blue and red. And of course you do have the accessories, the blue light pieces and the red light pieces on the side as well with the really nice pipe pieces, which I do like the pipe pieces, but I think maybe a different color than white would have been nice, because since they're right next to the door, they do sometimes kind of blend in with the other white areas of the car or the figure. So maybe like some gunmetal gray or silver maybe would have made them stand out a bit more, but that's just my opinion anyway. And of course you do have the really cool claw weapon in the back. If you don't like the claw weapon, if you just want to have Chase look maybe a bit more of a classic police car, because the huge claw weapon does make it stand out a bit much, you can just put that off to the side and not store on the figure if you don't want to. And of course you do have the back. Overall pretty simple and plain. And if we do flip to the bottom, overall pretty well compact and clean. We do have the wheels. They are mushroom peg, but overall does roll pretty well across pretty much any surface. And that is it for details. So now for some alt mode comparisons. Here he is with another Deluxe from Legacy United Wave 1, that being Magnus, and his separate review is coming on the channel very soon. I think they look pretty cool side by side. There we go. And now for another comparison. Here he is with the Voyager class Thundertron, and I'm going to try and review him as soon as I can, because as you probably already know, Thundertron is like one of my favorite characters of all time, but they do look very cool side by side. And that is it for comparisons and this police car alt mode. Let's now get down to reverse transformation. So now for reverse transformation, what you're going to do is remove all the accessories and put them off to the side. You can then move to the front of the police car. You're going to grab these small panels that actually hold or are the front headlights of the police car, and you're just going to flip these up on this small little hinge like so. And you can repeat the exact same step and process on the other side. Just flip this small little panel up like so. You can then move to the side of the police car. There's this entire little kind of pipe section back here, and it's on this hinge, and you're just going to untab it from the police car door and just hinge this entire section up. And how this is tabbed into place is there's a small tab there and a slot on the inside of the police car door. Of course, repeat the exact same step and process on the other side. Just hinge this entire section up like so, and of course the same tab and slot connection as the other side. Then I would advise to go to the back, because you're actually going to want to loosen the entire arm and form and shoulder. So I would actually start at pretty much the rear wheel or the shoulder, and then kind of move your way to the front, so of course you can actually hinge out the entire section. So you won't actually be able to remove the entire arm and shoulder on its own right now. You just kind of want to loosen it and prepare it. So just have a bit of a gap there. Just slowly start kind of pulling this away. You'll have a bit of a crevice there, and you can repeat that exact same step and process on their side. Just kind of loosen this entire section. Just kind of get it ready. As you can see, you can then flip to the underside of the police car. You're actually going to grab the entire police car door and just hinge this entire section out. And how this is tabbed into place is there's a tab right there, and there's a slot on the inside of the front wheel. Of course, you can repeat the exact same step and process on the other side. Just loosen this entire section and bring it out. You can then go to the shoulder, and you're just going to loosen this and hinge this down on this hinge. You can see right there pretty much where the shoulder is. So just hinge those down. You can then actually grab the entire shoulder and hinge it up like so. So pretty much make sure the hand is pointing up like that. Same with the other one. Just hinge this entire section up. Then you're actually going to grab the entire front windscreen. It's actually sort of tucked on the inside of this entire front hood section, so you can actually bring this out like so and hinge this entire section up like that. And where this actually was moved was pretty much the entire crotch section. For the car or the police car mode, you actually do fold that down, of course, to form the car. But for the road mode, you're going to hinge this entire section up. You can then split at the legs. As you can see, there's several tabs and slots right there. You can then rotate at the top of the leg, pretty much where the knee or the thigh is. Rotate at the top of the leg. You can then get the entire foot on the side. You're actually going to untab that like so. It's a very secure connection. Just bring this down, and of course bring the heel spur out. Same with the other one. Untab this entire section, bring it down, bring the heel spur out, and there is a small slot there, and of course a small tab right there, and that's how that was tabbed into place. And then you can actually move to the back of the figure. You're going to fold this entire section in like so. There's a tab there and a slot right there and a slot and tab, and just fold it up to complete the leg. And of course repeat the exact same step and process on the other side. Just fold this entire section in, tab that into place to finish and complete the leg. Now let me just quickly straighten everything up. And then you can actually grab this entire section, and this is just going to fold down. You can then get this panel here, hinge this out, and then of course push this through. And the reason why you hinge that panel out is of course so there's enough clearance to actually have the head go through, and then tab that into place. Then you can push this panel back up, and then you can kind of position the shoulders however you want. Unfortunately on this figure, as I mentioned before earlier in the review, the shoulders don't really tab into place, so it's kind of up to your own personal preference how you have them positioned. You can have them a bit higher up, a bit lower down, but that is pretty much it for reverse transformation. Let's now get down to the final thoughts. Now for my final thoughts on the Transformers Legacy United Rescue Bots Universe Deluxe Class Chase. While I'm not very familiar with the Rescue Bot series or the character Chase, I think Hasbro did a great job taking Chase's show design and recreating it into toy form. I like Chase's police design with the really nice sculpted police cap and black visor on the head with the bright transparent yellow windows on the chest mixed with the nice dark blue paint apps. As for accessories, Chase includes 2 police light pieces, 1 blue and 1 red, which can store onto his form his final accessory is a bright transparent blue claw, which I think was his signature weapon or gimmick from the Rescue Bot series. As for Articulation, overall a highly poseable figure, but I do have one problem with the shoulders. It's that they don't really tab or lock into place, so they can move around a lot when you're trying to pose the figure. Transformation is simple and fun to do back and forth. As for the police car element, I think Hasbro did a great job. I like the nice creamy white color mixed with the dark blue paint-apps for the base color of the car, and you can't forget about that signature police siren or light on top of the car. As for accessory storage, the two light pieces can be stored on each side of the car, while the claw weapon can be attached onto the back. What do you think of this figure? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time.